Emmerdale's April Windsor reunites with Dylan Penders, but his dark secret could end in disaster. Emmerdale fans are in for a week of heartfelt reunions, emotional turbulence, and dangerous secrets as April Windsor reconnects with an old friend, only to discover he's more broken and vulnerable than she ever imagined. As Dylan Penders reappears on the outskirts of the village, hiding away from everyone and nursing a serious injury, April steps in to offer kindness. But as their bond reignites, will her empathy be enough to pull Dylan back from the edge? The upcoming episodes promise a moving exploration of friendship, loyalty, and the harsh reality of life on the margins. But with Dylan's health rapidly deteriorating and a dangerous new face in the village stirring fear, could April's compassion draw her into a much darker situation than she's ready for? April's cemetery discovery. A friend in the shadows. April Windsor heads to the cemetery next week to pay tribute to her late mother, Donna, leaving flowers at her grave in a quiet, personal moment of reflection. But as she kneels beside the gravestone, a strange sound in the surrounding bushes catches her attention, an almost imperceptible rustle that triggers her curiosity. Unbeknownst to her, someone has been living rough nearby, watching the world from the shadows. And that someone is none other than Dylan Penders, a troubled but familiar face from her past. April and Dylan have a very unique friendship, shares an Emmerdale insider. They've been through a lot, and while Dylan's life has taken a difficult turn, their emotional connection has never completely vanished. Laurel Thomas has already been suspicious. She's noticed signs that someone is lurking around the village's hedgerows. But when April finally confronts the source of the mystery, she's shocked and saddened to find Dylan hiding in the shrubbery, clearly unwell and in need of help. At first, Dylan is hesitant, guarded and ashamed of his appearance. But April gently coaxes him out, speaking with warmth and care. "You don't have to hide from me," she says softly. "I'm still your friend." Moved by her sincerity, Dylan finally steps into the open. A graveyard reunion. The truth about Dylan's past weeks. Sitting together on a bench overlooking Donna's grave, April and Dylan finally talk, free from judgment or interruption. The pair reminisce about better days, and April listens with quiet intensity as Dylan opens up. "I'm clean now," Dylan reveals. "No more drugs. I've been off them for weeks." April smiles, genuinely proud of him. "That's amazing, Dylan. I always knew you could do it." The moment is tender and hopeful, a brief glimpse of healing for both characters. April feels relief and joy that her friend has taken steps to turn his life around. But little does she know, the young man beside her is hiding more than just his temporary living conditions. Dylan's secret injury. A brutal attack at Butler's farm. Unknown to April, Dylan's situation is far more serious than she realizes. He's not only homeless, he's seriously wounded. Weeks earlier, Dylan was caught in a terrifying incident at Butler's farm, where a confrontation with Kyle Winchester escalated. In a moment of panic and perceived danger, Kyle lashed out with a pitchfork, stabbing Dylan. Though Dylan escaped with his life, the damage was severe, and untreated. Given that Dylan was attacked with a pitchfork, the injury is both physically serious and symbolically horrifying, says an Emmerdale producer. He's been hiding ever since, not just from the law or his demons, but from the pain. As night falls, Dylan curls up in the cricket pavilion, trying to sleep through the agony. He clutches his side, where the wound festers beneath his clothing. His breathing is labored, and his face is pale. The trailer captures a quiet but gut-wrenching image, a teenage boy slipping through society's cracks while everyone assumes he's just another runaway. April's world collides with Dylan's. Two futures, one crossroads. Later in the week, April and Dylan meet again for a more lighthearted catch-up. Laughing under the summer sun, they begin making tentative plans for a date, a sign that their friendship might be blossoming into something more. "It's a sweet moment," says our source. "After everything April has gone through with her family and her own struggles, this feels like a spark of joy." But there's a dark undercurrent because Dylan isn't being fully honest with her. As the day of their planned meeting arrives, Dylan musters the strength to make his way into the village. But the moment he arrives, his face drains of color. Across the square, he sees someone talking to Moira Dingle, someone who terrifies him. It's Ray, a newly introduced and dangerously unpredictable character whose arrival in the village has already unsettled a few residents. But to Dylan, Ray represents a much more personal threat. He bolts, the source explains. One glimpse of Ray and Dylan disappears again. The question is, why is he so scared? And what's the history between them? April's apprenticeship crisis, a father's interference. Back at home, April faces problems of her own. After showing great promise in her apprenticeship at Take a Vow, She's blindsided when Belle Dingle sits her down at the woolpack and tells her the position is being withdrawn. Stunned and hurt, April listens as Belle explains that it's simply not working out, but the teenager isn't convinced. It doesn't take her long to piece things together. Her father, Marlon Dingle, has been increasingly anxious about her working hours and the influence of older colleagues. April confronts him, calling out his interference. "I earned that spot, Dad," she says. "You don't get to pull the plug because you're scared." To his credit, Marlon listens. Seeing the determination in his daughter's eyes, and perhaps recognizing how much control he's tried to assert over her future, he agrees to reverse his decision. April's apprenticeship is reinstated, but the situation leaves her rattled. She's learning that the adult world is messy, complicated, and often unfair. Still, she's also proving she can stand up for herself, and that she won't let others dictate her path. The Dylan dilemma. Can April save him? With her job secure again and her confidence growing, April turns her attention back to Dylan. But with Dylan's condition worsening and Ray's shadow looming, it's becoming clear that their time together may be running out. Will Dylan finally come clean about his injury? Will he seek medical help before it's too late? Or will he disappear once more, consumed by fear and shame? The emotional weight of the story is intensifying, and April may be the only person who can help Dylan reclaim his future. But how much can one teenager carry? Coming up, what to expect in Emmerdale's next chapter. The Dylan-April arc is set to become one of Emmerdale's most poignant summer storylines. Here's what viewers can look forward to in the coming weeks. 1. Dylan's injury reaches crisis point. Leaked photos suggest that Dylan collapses behind the pavilion, unconscious and feverish. Will someone find him in time? And will he survive the consequences of his untreated wound? 2. Ray's connection to Dylan. Why does Dylan fear Ray so deeply? Sources hint at a disturbing backstory involving coercion, exploitation, or betrayal. Could Ray be the reason Dylan turned to drugs in the first place? 3. April's growing feelings. April's concern for Dylan begins to evolve into something deeper. But with her career just beginning and Dylan on a dangerous path, will she choose to stick by him, or focus on her own future? 4. Marlon's protective streak. As Marlon notices how emotionally invested April is becoming, he tries to step in once more, this time warning her about Dylan. Could this reignite old tensions between father and daughter? 5. A chance at redemption. If Dylan recovers, could the village rally around him? Or will judgment and gossip keep him on the outskirts? April may have to fight for him, not just emotionally, but publicly. Final thoughts. A story of youth, pain, and hope. At its heart, this storyline is about vulnerability, survival, and human connection. Dylan represents countless forgotten youths, cast aside by the system and struggling to survive. April symbolizes compassion, resilience, and the power of friendship. This is what soap storytelling is all about, says our Emmerdale insider. It's gritty, it's emotional, and it makes you care. As April and Dylan's paths intertwine once again, Emmerdale asks some big questions. Can you really save someone who won't save themselves? Is love enough when the world is against you? And can a graveyard reunion change the course of two lives? Only time will tell. But for now, one thing is clear. Emmerdale viewers are about to witness one of the summer's most powerful stories unfold.